Have you ever felt like an eagle among a flock of chickens? In a world that often values conformity over individuality, standing out can feel daunting. And we all have this need of belonging, and to a certain degree, the tendency to ignore ourselves in favor of being more compliant with our herd. But what if embracing your uniqueness is the key to living a truly authentic life? So today we'll explore how being different can lead to a genuine life and offer practical tips for overcoming the fear of judgment. Welcome to the Small Reset, where we explore the journey to limitless freedom and financial independence. My name is Ingo, and together we're diving into the powerful connection between nonconformity and authenticity. Nonconformity means that you don't follow or comply with the norms and customs that are set by the society you live in. It doesn't have to be an active or conscious behavior, for example, like challenging the expectations or beliefs of the majority. It can also be that you're just thinking, feeling, or behaving in different ways than what the majority would consider normal. So what about authenticity? Authenticity means that your actions and behaviors are aligned with your personality, with your beliefs, and with your values, no matter what are the external influences. To boil it down, I would say it basically means that you live in peace with yourself. Authenticity is a very important element in personal growth and well-being. When you live authentically, you experience less internal conflicts or cognitive dissonance. And that is important to experience less stress and to improve your mental health. It's also an important element for your relationships. Think about it. To truly connect with people, it is essential to understand their true personality and see behind the mask. Authenticity also increases your confidence. If you're not used to behave the way you are, even if it's different from others, it will feel strange in the beginning. We are questioning ourselves. But while we develop a deeper connection to our core values and our unique qualities, we build more and more confidence. When we are authentic, we are also better prepared to handle difficult challenges and setbacks in life because we depend less on external validation. Ultimately, being authentic is essential to find and follow your purpose and to live your life in true fulfillment. So the question is now, is nonconformity a requirement for an authentic life? Let's break that down. Authenticity starts with self-discovery. Now often, your values will be similar to the ones of your friends, of your family, or the ones you learn from social media. And the goal here is not to be a rebel and to be against all of them, but it is important to reflect on them and see if they really align with you. So a good starting point is questioning everything. From there you can then confirm, reject, or adjust the social norms and expectations. And this process will help you to develop critical thinking and how to make independent decisions. Now, when we look on the basic human needs with respect to this topic, there are two that are relevant for us, and sometimes they can be contradictory. We're talking now about attachment versus authenticity. Attachment is something fundamental. We are not used to live alone. We live in herds or in communities, and we want to belong to them. Attachment evolved as a survival mechanism in mammals and in humans. Staying close to our pack and caregivers protected us and helped us to learn how to behave in certain situations. For humans, the situation is even a bit more complex due to our advanced cognitive and emotional capabilities. For us, attachment continues beyond infancy and childhood, even into our adulthood. The emotional bond we form with others is often shaped by our early life experiences, and they're a big part of our belief system. Now, our need for authenticity can sometimes be in conflict with our attachment needs. For example, when we are afraid of losing the connection with our partner, or when we feel in our community like the black sheep in a herd of white sheep, it can make us compromise our true selves. We all can experience such conflict sometimes, and this is normal and forces us to reflect and decide. But in some cases, it can lead to a situation where our complete life is built on a lie, because our desire to belong was stronger than our individuality, and this can cause depression and dependence. Now let's dig a little bit deeper into the psychology, not only of individuals, but about mass psychology and how it impacts the behavior of individuals. And here is kind of the error in the system, right? Because the value and belief system of a society or of any group of people is very complex. And we cannot assume that this mass belief is always the best possible alternative. And to explain that in more detail, I want to refer now to a very important book that was published in 1895, so about 130 years ago. I'm talking about Gustave Le Bon's The Crowd, a Study of the Popular Mind. And Le Bon describes how individuals that become part of a crowd with a common idea or ideology go through a profound psychological transformation. And it can be something really bad. And then actually, we got the proof for Le Bon's theory about 40 years later, in the mid of the 20th century, when the rise of National Socialist idea in Germany led to one of the biggest disasters in human history. Le Bon defines a crowd as a group of individuals which is united by a common idea, a belief, or an ideology. And he says that the individuals are willing to sacrifice their personal interests for the collective interest. He also claims that such crowds do not choose ideas based on reasoning. As a matter of fact, they check such beliefs only superficially and use them as a fuel for action. And if beliefs are not validated or challenged by the people, it means they spread more rapidly and they manifest. Actually, you can find quite a few ideas, also in the last few years, that prove this hypothesis. Can you think of any? So we see here clearly that our need to belong and conformity with social expectations have potentially a huge drawback, not only on our own lives, but on our communities or even on the whole world. So by now, I hope we reached a common understanding of the problem. Now let's have a look how nonconformity can break the mold and encourage personal expression and how it can even improve our society as a whole. The example of Nazi Germany shows us that the majority is not always right. In fact, in this case, they were terribly wrong. So if you embrace nonconformity, you will be a help for questioning the established norms and expectations. And this questioning process opens up new possibilities for fellow people, but also for societies to change. You can be part of the solution rather than of the problem. It also fosters creativity. You heard the phrase, this? Oh yeah, we always did it like that. By breaking away from conventional thinking, we stimulate creative problem solving. Think out of the box. If we look back in human history and our development, we will see that almost always technical and social revolutions that advanced mankind came from people that thought differently. Another key point of being nonconform is also that you inspire others. Those who express themselves authentically are usually seen as role models. And this can start a ripple effect of personal expression in communities. People will also be less concerned about others' judgments if they see that there are no negative consequences to that. And now we've arrived at perhaps the most crucial question of this video, and the one that's likely been nagging at your mind since you started watching. Are you authentic or are you a fake? So we learned already, authenticity means to act in accordance with our true selves, with our values and our beliefs. Authenticity is not the same as honesty or consistency. You can be authentic even if you're not always honest or consistent. So to find out if you're authentic, you need to be self-aware. The problem with that is that we're not always aware of ourselves, even if we think we are. Too often we are distracted. Authenticity is also something subjective. It is important that you feel that you're authentic, and not so much what other people think. Actually, it's not only the thinking or our thoughts that contribute to authenticity, right? It is also to a large part our feelings and our intuitions. The key to learn more about your level of authenticity is to compare your behaviors with your self-perception. And again, this is something subjective. There are no wrong or right answers. It is more about how it makes you feel and how you think about the topic. So to get a better understanding, start to observe yourself in daily situations. How do you talk to friends and family? And how does this feel? Does it feel good or does it feel awkward? Which stories do you like to tell about yourself? Are the stories about who you are or more about who you want to be? And are your stories consistent? You can also check what other people say or write about you. Can you find articles about you in the internet or in social media posts? What would your family, your boss, your friends tell about you? And most important, how do these stories make you feel? Another point is how well you deal with criticism. How do you react when people tell you something negative about yourself? Do you defend yourself or even get angry? Or are you able to reflect on that and compare it with your self-perception? Start also paying attention to how you treat people whose opinions are less important to you. How do you talk to the waiter in a restaurant, or the guy from the delivery service, or just to strangers on the street? Treating everyone with respect is a sign of mental greatness. So these are a few ideas how to increase your self-awareness. And keep in mind, this is a process and it will take time to adapt this method and become better in knowing yourself. But it is worth the journey. It also might feel awkward in the beginning because we tend to avoid ourselves, so don't give up too quickly. Another question we might have is how we can stop pleasing others and be more our authentic selves. The first step is to appreciate and actually celebrate our individuality, our differences, and our unique qualities. Think about it. What are you proud of? What makes you you, and not just another character? It could be your creativity, or maybe your sense of humor, or perhaps something that only you are able to do. And we all have such uniquenesses. We also should learn to care less about external judgments. This sounds easy, but depending how much and how long are you seeking external validation for your actions, this can be quite a process to get there. The goal should be to get more trust and confidence in your own judgments. A starting point can be that your value is not defined by other opinions. The second part is to align your actions and behaviors with your core values. And therefore, it is important to understand what our core values are. Because sometimes they're influenced and biased by all the distractions and opinion that affect us in our daily lives. So to understand your values and to get to your most inner selves, I recommend to regularly disconnect. This can be by meditation or also a conscious walk in the nature. Just leave your phone at home. When you are with yourself, you have time to think and feel for yourself. And also practice gratitude. What are you thankful for? What do you have already? Recognize how blessed you are in many areas of life. If you start to become more authentic, and especially if this requires a higher degree of nonconformity, there will also be resistance. This could be internal and/or external resistance. If you face resistance within yourself, try to remind yourself about your higher goals. Why is being authentic important to you? Compliance is usually always the easier way, but not necessarily the one that brings you to where you want to be. If you face concerns or controversial expectations by your partner, friends, family, or other people, so face it. It is okay to have different opinions. Respect the position of the others. You don't have to agree with them. And it is also okay to say no. And sometimes it's even necessary to walk away from people that are not supporting your growth. The last part I want to quickly talk about is the importance of supportive community. Again, it is not necessary that you are in agreement about all the topics that are important for you with your community. But it is essential that they also embrace individuality and authenticity. In this way, you support each other on your growth path. Some people won't understand you and your beliefs or your ideas. And that is okay. It doesn't mean that you are right and they are wrong. Or that you are wrong and they are right. It just means you speak different languages and have different perspectives. Do you remember the example of the eagle and chicken flock I mentioned in the beginning? The chicken can tell the eagle about their good lives in their home, with their fellow chicken, safe from the foxes and other predators, nothing to worry about, but the eagle won't understand them and will never be able to enjoy the life among them. The eagle, on the other hand, will tell the chicken about the freedom in the sky, the endless landscapes without limits, and the feeling of being high above anything in the cold, fresh air. The chicken won't understand them. But they both have their validity. They're both birds, but they don't understand each other. So if you're an eagle, surround yourself with eagles. And if you're a chicken, surround yourself with chicken. Nothing wrong with either of them. And with that, I would like to thank you that you watched this video till the end. I hope this helped you to understand the idea and the power and necessity of nonconformity for our society, but also for ourselves and our own personal development. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to be part of our small and supportive community here at Small Reset, like the video and subscribe to our channel. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, and stay true to yourself. Cheers.